In the bustling city of Rome, Gaius lived a life shackled by the relentless grip of alcoholism. Once a prosperous merchant, he had seen his fortunes decline with the rise of his addiction. His nights were cloaked in the merriment of wine, while his days became a foggy haze of pounding headaches and regret. Gaius was a man of tall stature, his shoulders bearing the weight of his past and the toll of his vices. His eyes, once vibrant, were now veiled with the weary signs of a man who had surrendered to his demons. His once robust figure had grown lean, almost gaunt, the physical cost of his addiction becoming ever more visible. His wife had left him, unable to bear the crushing weight of his habits, and his once thriving business was now in the hands of a partner who had exploited his vulnerability. His children, no longer recognizing the father they once admired, kept their distance. Gaius's once radiant life was now a crumbling edifice of despair, every brick symbolizing a bottle, a promise broken, a relationship tarnished. His struggle with alcohol had consumed him, casting a long, inescapable shadow over his existence in the eternal city. One late night, after another bout of drinking, Gaius found himself staggering through the narrow alleyways of Rome. He took a wrong turn and stumbled upon a hidden passage he'd never seen before, at the end of which was an ancient artifact, an amulet. Half conscious and influenced by his inebriated state, he picked up the amulet. As he stood there, he saw a procession approaching. The crowd was cheering for a man dressed in a purple toga, an olive wreath adorning his head. To his shock, it was the Emperor Julius Caesar. Gaius recognized him instantly from the countless sculptures and stories. In his drunken stupor, he carelessly stumbled into the path of the approaching procession. Caesar's guards quickly intercepted, but not before Caesar caught sight of the drunken man. "Who is this man?" Caesar asked. Curiosity piqued by the stranger who dared obstruct his path. Gaius could only mumble incoherently, unable to articulate his thoughts under the weight of his intoxication. Then Caesar saw his amulet. It belonged to him, and he had Gaius arrested. "Take him to the palace," he commanded his guards. Within the ornate chambers of the imperial palace, Gaius found himself face to face with Julius Caesar. His mind was still shrouded in an alcoholic haze, and his speech sluttered as he tried to form coherent sentences. Caesar watched Gaius with a stern expression, disappointment seeping into his features. "I had hoped for a man of substance," he murmured, taking in the disheveled figure before him, not a man enslaved by wine. Yet as he observed Gaius, Caesar saw something beneath the surface of his drunken state. There was a spark, a hidden strength that shone through the murkiness of his addiction. "There is potential in you," he declared, his voice commanding the room. Caesar, a keen judge of character, recognized that Gaius' struggle was not a testament to weakness, but a battle against a formidable adversary. "Gaius," he began, the weight of his words resounding through the room, "we will help you overcome this. It will not be an easy journey, but Rome was not built in a day." In the heart of the imperial palace, Julius Caesar began to instruct Gaius in the ancient philosophy of Stoicism. They sat in a quiet courtyard, far from the din of the bustling city, where Caesar patiently explained the foundations of Stoic thought. "Stoicism, Gaius," he began, "teaches us that virtue is the highest form of good, and that we should strive to cultivate self-control and fortitude. It encourages us to recognize and accept the things we cannot change while focusing our energies on those we can." Caesar continued, detailing how the principles of Stoicism centered around four core values: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Gaius listened intently, drawn in by the simplicity yet depth of the philosophy. "You see, Gaius," Caesar said, his eyes alight with a profound understanding, "Stoicism teaches us that we are not victims of our circumstances. We can choose our responses, our reactions, even with something as relentless as your addiction." Over the next several days, Caesar outlined a plan for Gaius to quit drinking. It incorporated elements of Stoicism into practical steps, gradually reducing his alcohol intake while promoting physical health and mental resilience. Daily meditation sessions were instated for self-reflection and gaining control over his emotions. Furthermore, Caesar emphasized the importance of adopting a daily routine, regular exercise, a balanced diet, sufficient rest. These are not secondary, They form the foundation of your road to recovery, he instructed. The plan was demanding, requiring Gaius to confront his addiction head-on. But Gaius found comfort in Stoicism. Its principles provided a beacon of hope, lighting the path toward a future where he wasn't a prisoner of alcohol, but a man in control of his destiny. His journey to sobriety was far from over, but with Caesar by his side and Stoicism in his heart, Gaius felt ready to wage his battle. The road to sobriety was fraught with difficulty for Gaius. Despite his earnest attempts to adopt the Stoic way of life, the temptation of the bottle proved difficult to resist. He grappled with withdrawal symptoms, his body rebelling against the absence of alcohol. Nights of tormenting insomnia, days marred by tremors and a persistent, gnawing anxiety became his new reality. Gaius stumbled, falling prey to the lure of wine more times than he could count. Each time, the taste of defeat was more bitter than the harshest wine, furthering his sense of despair. He began to question whether he would ever escape the clutches of his addiction. But in those moments of weakness, Caesar's presence remained constant. He was there to pick Gaius up each time he fell, encouraging him to forge ahead. "Struggle is the food of progress, Gaius," Caesar would say, his words resounding with patience and wisdom. "Each failure is not a setback, but a lesson. Remember, it is not the fall that defines us, but how we rise." As weeks turned into months, Gaius began to grasp the profound wisdom of Stoicism. His days, once clouded by alcohol, started to clear, revealing a deeper understanding of life and himself. The Stoic principle of controlling one's emotions particularly resonated with him. Gaius discovered a newfound strength in remaining calm amidst adversity, his heart steady even in the throes of craving. He learned to respond, not react, his thoughts no longer turbulent but calm like a placid lake. Caesar's words about embracing hardship echoed in his mind. Gaius began to see his struggle not as a punishment, but as an opportunity for growth, a forge in which his will was tempered. The daily battles with his addiction, though grueling, were shaping him into a stronger, more resilient individual. Acceptance, too, became a cornerstone of Gaius' recovery. He accepted his past mistakes and understood that he could not alter them. Instead, he focused his energy on the present, on the actions within his control. But his biggest test was yet to come. A grand feast was held in Rome, a spectacular event attended by the city's elite. Gaius found himself amidst the revelry, the air heavy with laughter, chatter, and the rich aroma of wine. The clinking goblets and the flowing crimson temptation tugged at the edges of his willpower. But Gaius had a weapon now: Stoicism. Each time he felt the desire rising within him, he summoned his Stoic teachings, exerting self-control and focusing his attention away from the drink and towards the enjoyment of the present moment. He remained calm amidst the ocean of temptation, his emotions firmly under his command. His resilience was noticed, and whispers of his newfound strength spread among the guests. That night, Gaius proved not only to himself but to all of Rome the power of his will and the transformative influence of Stoicism. In the months that followed, Gaius remained steadfast in his sobriety. The city watched in admiration as the man once known for his drunken exploits evolved into a figure of respect. Gaius was no longer a prisoner of his addiction, but a symbol of resilience and self-discipline. One day, Gaius approached Caesar, his heart filled with gratitude. "I owe you my life," he said, bowing before his mentor. Caesar smiled, raising Gaius to his feet. "No, Gaius, you owe it to yourself," he responded. "It was your resilience, your discipline that brought you here. I merely showed you the path. You had the courage to walk it." Gaius' story became an inspiring tale in Rome, a testament to the power of self-control, resilience, and the timeless wisdom of Stoicism. His journey from a man entrapped by alcohol to a beacon of strength illuminated the city, proving that even amidst the darkest despair, there is always a path towards the light.